Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing great today. Okay, so I think it was just yesterday that I published a video that I made 2 days ago when the actual invasion of Hamas into Israel happened, right? And in that video that I published, I was very, very clear when I shared my suspicions and shared my questions with everyone. I had too many questions, just like a lot of people. I had plenty of suspicions, and I shared all of those. And less than 24 hours of publishing that video, pretty much all the suspicions that I was sharing with us are now coming to life. I had plenty of questions about how one of the strongest military in the world could be kidnapping the way the Israeli Defense Forces were kidnapping. I had questions about how one of the finest intelligence network in the world could not see that an attack, an invasion on this scale was about to happen so that they could actually nip it in the bud. They're telling us now that they didn't see, they didn't know that these questions will be answered much later. And I find it very difficult to comprehend. That's the number one thing that's been on my mind. How did this happen? Israeli Mossad is one of the best in the world. They can get intelligence from 1,000,000 miles away. They have access to so many intelligence information, but the one next door, right underneath their nostrils, they couldn't see it. I'm worried. I cannot wait for the day they explain what really happened. On top of that, there is now something that has gone very mainstream right now. The fact that these people in Israeli settlements were calling for the military to help. The backup they were calling for never showed up for hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. How? These are also part of the questions that everybody is saying, please, we need answers to all of this. Do you see why my suspicions were mounting like out of proportion over this whole thing? And then I remember that I said that Iran is going to be a principal target, potentially, in all of this. I remember that I also said that if care is not taken, that there's going to be a response from Hezbollah. It has happened already. Hezbollah has claimed responsibility for a strike on an Israeli post inside of Israel. IDF has sent their soldiers to the border with Lebanon, and they are beefing it up, and I think they have actually even responded to that strike from inside Lebanon. So technically, Hezbollah, Lebanon are already drawn into the war. Technically, potentially. And who sponsors Hezbollah? It is Iran. Also, Iran is accused by almost everyone from America to our people in Europe that they are the ones who are funding and arming Hamas. So whichever way you look at it, Iran is the person that everyone is pointing an accusing finger at. And before you know what's going on, US warships are on their way to the region, and they say they want to prevent anyone trying to send weapons to Hamas to continue their aggression against Israel. And these warships that are going to that region, these are ships that carry hundreds, if not thousands of fighter jets. They are ready with about 5,000 naval officers. They are ready. They are moving. They are combat ready, moving to that region because America has to stand with Israel. I told you this. They are not hiding it. They're going there. And now, listen to this. Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham, the US Senator, that is a very strong proponent of the war with Russia, someone who supports Ukraine seriously in this war that is ongoing between Russia and Ukraine. You know what he said? He said that if Hezbollah gets involved in this war, that he will move the motion. He will be the one pushing for America to strike and destroy all the 4 major refineries, oil refineries in Iran. That will cripple Iran instantly. But I'm telling you, that's not the only thing that they are going to destroy. They're going to destroy all the weapons manufacturing centers in Iran, including where they manufacture the drones, the kamikaze drones that were used by Russia to attack Ukraine, and the ones that Hamas has been using to attack spots and locations in Israel. And then the nuclear facility, you think they're going to leave it? Because he's already talking about American military teaming together with the Israeli Defense Force to descend on Iran. He said if, but Hezbollah is already drawn into the war. They're already fighting. So I guess by now he's making that move. That's why I know, and I said it in that video, that Iran is the Iran is the scapegoat here. Iran is the target. Everything begins with Iran, but it's not only Iran that will be the target. Lebanon is going to get involved as well. And not only them, all the Arab nations are going to get drawn into this in the long run. Allegiances will be switched. Alliances will be formed. Some of us who were on one side will probably pick a different side this time. And you're going to see how that the whole world is divided into 2 polar sides. One on the side of Palestine and the other on the side of Israel. And what does that lead us to? It's leading us to exactly what we've been reading in the Bible about the Armageddon war, about all this war, about the temple and the rest of them. Now, there's something else I spoke about in that video. I talked about the situation where this war escalates out of proportion and gets into Jerusalem. You know, it started from Gaza. Right now, we have heard that the war is actually now, we have strikes that have taken place in Jerusalem. There were exchange of gunfires in Jerusalem. And even Tel Aviv airport had a missile drop there. And people were just running for safety. So no place is out of reach. This thing is going to escalate. It's going to go all over. Because what Israel is doing now, Israel is going for a full-scale invasion of Gaza. Israeli Minister of Defense was very clear when he said they are declaring a siege on Gaza. He said no water, no electricity, no light, nothing, no fuel or food or anything will be allowed to enter into Gaza. That is a total blockade. Nothing goes in, nothing comes out. It's a siege. If you know the meaning of siege, he has ordered a total siege, historic, such as they have never probably seen in the history of that Palestinian country. A total siege. And you know what is going to happen when a siege is declared like that? Everything inside goes. And now that's when you get to understand that Arab countries will now begin to react. Everybody is still now talking about the Israelis who are killed and held hostage. Wait till Israel gets a little more deep into their operation. Netanyahu just told us that even the attack on Gaza is only the beginning of what is to come. If what we see happening in Gaza, where whole regions are flattened by Israeli bombing, where entire places are, I'm talking about, you see skyscrapers everywhere brought down to the rubble. It's not even just cutting, but everywhere is leveled to the ground. If that is the beginning, can you imagine what the middle and the ending will look like? You're going to see this escalate to Jerusalem. And you're going to see it get to a point where exchange of gunfires will happen around Al-Aqsa Mosque. And trust me, believe what I say to you today. In the same manner that Israeli bombardment has destroyed a very big mosque in Gaza and has now destroyed, unconfirmed report, they've destroyed now the third oldest church in the whole world, a Greek Orthodox church inside of Gaza, has also been destroyed. Yeah. If these things have happened, watch out what is going to happen when it gets to Jerusalem. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is in view, because I remember I shared a video several years ago, and I showed us how that there was this alien event, this cosmic event that happened in Jerusalem. If you go down to my videos, you can see that video. I showed how it happened, that they had some event that showed up. A light came from the sky and stood, and the whole of Israel was alarmed, and they began to watch it. And the light started moving and moving, and it went right at the top, at the tip of the dome of the mosque, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. When it got to the tip of the dome, the light, this celestial light, stood there still for a short while. And it was captured on camera. And from there, it took off. Most Israeli rabbis and so many other Israelis now said this was the sign they were asking God for. They wanted to know where to build the third temple, the third Jerusalem temple, and it came as a sign to them that the temple must be built on the ground on which the Al-Aqsa Mosque is standing today. If you check my recent videos on this topic, I said it. There is no way. When I heard that the red heifers that will be used for the sacrifice for the temple were now there, that they have discovered the red heifers, which were not in existence for a very long time. They discovered red heifers. Red heifers have shown up, all of them, without blemish. They are ready. And then the guys in charge of the temple say that everything is ready for the temple. The only problem is that the piece of land where it will be built is not ready yet, because something is standing there. And I said to everyone who cared to listen that there has to be a massive war that will affect this. And if that war happens and this mosque is destroyed, Israel will take over the region and nobody will come there to do anything until that temple is built. So that is essentially taking us into a massive global war. That's what we are working ourselves into right now. I'm seeing this. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I see happening. That's what I see unfolding before our eyes. And of course, you already know where the rest of our brothers in Europe are going to be. The NATO, US is already moving. So you know NATO is going to go with US on the side of Israel, Canada, Australia, the rest of them. Everyone who has supported the Ukrainian war, they will be on the side of Israel. And then, sadly, the other people are going to lump together to face these other guys. And then our world will be a mess. Imagine when Russia and China and the rest of the people team with the Arab nations to go after these other guys. Because Hezbollah has also said, in the same way that Lindsey Graham said that they're going to bomb Iran if Hezbollah got it. But Hezbollah also issued a statement and said, if America gets involved in this, every American institution or American facility in the whole of the Middle East region will be a target of their attack. This is This is the first time since I've been covering and following wars that I can look at World War III in the face straight, and it's not even hazy image. It is so clear, so unambiguous, so evident. We were thinking that there will be a trigger on the other side, Russia, Ukraine. The trigger happened here. The war had been ready a long time ago. They were just waiting for trigger. I thought the trigger was going to come from the other end, but I knew that we were at the tip of that World War III. I was just wondering, where would the trigger come from? You saw the last video I posted before I posted the one on Israel-Palestinian war. I made it clear there was some Amazon, whatever, all these AI tools that was asked about Alexa asked about the elections in the US in 2024. And he said there will be no elections in the US in 2024 because America is going to be at war. And you do not change a commander-in-chief when there is war. Alexa said that. It's in my video. The last two videos I posted before this particular one. Go watch it. I share these things with people because I want people to wake up. Not when something happens, you start talking about, I want to take my life, I want to commit suicide. Be psychologically prepared so that you understand what is happening. We are at a spot in this life today where I tell you the gospel truth, we are staring mass depopulation in the face because this is going to descend into, there's nobody who doesn't know that the Third World War is going to be a nuclear war. Go and read about nuclear wars. What happens? Go and read. What is it that happens? People die in their billions. We're not even talking about hundreds of millions. They die in their billions from all over the world. Is this what we are walking into and people are just, they could care less? This is a massive, massive emergency. If you live in these countries, if you live in Iran, if you live in the United States of America, if you live in some of these Middle Eastern states, I beg of you, even if you don't move right now as I speak, make critical moves. Remember, I said this to our people. I made a post and warned people who were in Ukraine. I said, be careful from everything I'm looking at. War is coming. They say, this man, go and sit down. Every time you talk about doom and gloom and gloom and doom, everything about war is doom and gloom. When I talk about it, I'm only giving you an aspect, a perspective that you are not seeing it from, so that you can be better informed, so that you can actually take action, necessary action to prevent or reduce collateral damages. That's what I do all this for. I don't have to do them. I'm saying this again now. All these things are happening not long after the United States of America and Russia on the same day, October 4, carried out nationwide systems testing, mobile system testing in preparation for nuclear attack. They carried out nuclear drills, more like. And in America, different states have been carrying it out. And now they had a nationwide systems testing for emergency systems test, where if there's an emergency, every device you have from your phone to your computer to your TV will flash the emergency on the screen. Why did they do it? They say they do it almost every 3 years. But this, we have been told, is very critical. And it is because of what is happening. And you have to ask yourself, it happened on the same day that the Russians were doing their own too. And this is happening shortly after Russia had put their worst, their strongest nuclear missile on combat duty. The one they call Samad also known as Satan 2. Look at all the events happening at the same time. My own is to connect the dots for you. I just finished making the video and then boom, Russia, Israel and Palestine began to fight. I told you. So tell me, potentially from everything you see now, do you see elections happening in America? Alexa was right. Whoever programmed them and put that information inside Alexa, they know what they are doing. Do you see any elections in the US as this war is going? Because America is getting directly involved now. The warship is there. The career is there. Are we going to learn? Are we going to prepare? Are we going to get ready? This is no longer a matter of potentiality for a global war. This is a global war already. There's this report we got. It's not trending yet because it's an Arab news that reported, I think it's even a Saudi news network that reported it, that the so-called normalization of relations that the whole world has been touting around the whole place between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the end of hostilities in the whole of the Middle East. We just hear now, we're hearing that Saudi is pulled out of it. The Americans are saying it's not true, but we are seeing the reasons given by Saudi. Go check it out from Bloomberg, you see it. So technically, that is actually true. It is true. But nobody's going to accept it because if it is not true, Saudis will say, no, it's not true. Right now, it's just America saying it's not true. And Israel is saying we're not accepting the concession on Palestine. And Saudi is saying we don't want what is happening. And so, in the way the Arab world functions, if Saudi continues on that path, while this is happening, everybody will turn against Saudi. They will turn on them. How can you be talking about this when they're killing our people? Because the death toll from the Palestinian side is also rising. It's moving. It's going up now, little by little. So everything has to be put on hold because hell is about to visit our world. It was predicted. It was prophesied. It was spoken of. And I have done my best to talk about this in almost every video I have put out there. Warned people, beware, be careful. It doesn't mean you should let your life grind to a halt. For those of us who live abroad, who live in different Western countries, just make plans in case of any eventuality so you will know exactly where to go. I'm tired of saying this. So we're just going to sit down and just watch things play out. But my prayer is that God will protect you and yours. No matter how obstinate some of you might be, God will still protect you. That's my prayer. But I think it's important to also know that to be forearmed, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. God bless you.